Welcome everyone. First off, I'm very happy, very excited, and very nervous to be here. And I hope you will be happy and collaborative. So I'm gonna first briefly introduce myself. My name is Xhovana. I'm from Italy, and I'm a student. I am currently studying languages, and I've been studying theater for about 6 years now. So I kind of had the chance to see how these two worlds collide together. And let's see, I started with social theater, which basically is about using theater as a tool for to portray social problems, social issues, or for social integration. And then I discovered and explored other fields of theater. So first off, I want to ask you a question. Has any one of you ever had experiences with theater? Good. So it's very good. So you will know what I will be talking about. So first off, what theater is? I think many people, when they think of theater, they think about the performance and the show. But I think that's 20% of the real theater. The most part, and I think the most beautiful part, is all the laboratories, all the work and activities that you do to prepare yourself to act. And that is what I think what we should pay attention to this part for our activities in language learning. So, what do theater and language have in common? Why are we mixing these two worlds?
Communication skills.
Communication?
And
Yeah.
appearance as well, which is...
Yeah, I think that is their intersection, the point where they meet. Is their reason to exist. I am speaking to you now to communicate with you, and I do theater to communicate. And I communicate not only with words, I communicate with my body, I communicate with my intonation, I communicate with a lot of other parts of myself. And I think theater is very effective in helping us with this, because if I am teaching a language and if I am learning a language, I don't want to learn only the grammar structure. I can be very good at forming a sentence, very grammarly correct, but maybe I'm not that able in communicating. So theater to me is kind of it's a representation of life itself. It just brings the life and the situations of life into this stage or whatever place you are in. So I think that is why it's very helpful. And so what I also want to talk to you about is an experience that I had. I had the chance to act in different languages, in French and in English. And when I was in high school, we had this project which I think is very useful and very beautiful also for the students. And I think schools and also universities should follow this path. I was studying in a foreign language school, so we will study French, English, German, Italian, and Spanish. And what we had was after-school activity where we had to do theater, but it was the language theater. So every language had its own group. So there was the English-Spanish theater group, the German-Spanish theater group, and so on. And we had a teacher, which was just curriculum teacher. They were not professionists by any field of theater. Some of them were passionate about theater in their personal life. Some of them just basically ended up in that world in school. And these teachers, they would help us and guide us in this experience, let's say. And I was part of the English of the English group, and we were kind of unlucky because we didn't have a teacher for a chain of reasons. Our teacher, well, we didn't have one. So what we had to do basically for the whole year, we had to create everything by ourselves. So we had a performance at the end with all the groups together at the end of the year school. And our group, we had to find the story, to create the story. We had to write our own script, and everything done in English, so in a foreign language. We had to write the script. We had to work on the characters. Of course, we had to work on the scene, on the costumes, and everything that involved, creating a drama or a presentation and so on. So this is kind of what I've learned from also that experience, and so we're gonna really briefly talk about it, and after that we're gonna do some exercises. Maybe you know them. Are very easy, and just some pop-ups here and there. So, why should we use theater? Because it's creativity learning. When we learn with games, it's funnier, and our brain, if something's funny, we're gonna remember that way more easier, let's say. And also, when we play and use our creativity, our learning is not something that we see as something we have to do. It's something we learn in a subconscious way. It's we act in those situations. We don't even feel like learning. And also theater, as I said, gives us the chance to build real life situations. So sometimes in schools, here actually I thought, because I'm an ERASMUS student here, and I saw that actually lessons are more interactive and more practical that I'm used to in Italy. But sometimes, we learn languages and we learn them on books, and so we do have the knowledge, but then when we find ourselves in the real life situations, we feel kind of taken back, we feel kind of awkward, maybe we're not really prepared for that. And through theater just gives us those situations in a contest. So again, spontaneity, and we feel more natural in our speaking. And emotions. So emotions help very much with memory, because if we attach, let's say, something that we're learning to an emotion, or an image, or something that we kind of make what we're learning intimate and personal, we of course remember it better. So theater gives you a lot of emotions, an emotion we didn't even think we had. And of course, social interactions. So social interactions, I think it is important both for the language learning, but also for the students, because sometimes in class maybe we have we need also as teachers, you need also as teachers, I still don't have to, you need also a teacher to create a kind of environment where your students can kind of get to know each other, interact with each other, and be more friendly. And as I've seen in an experience in theater helps you to really build strong relationships. And by doing an exercise, because they're very exercises in theater, they're very practical, like they involve a lot your body. So when we put aside all the body walls and levels that we put between people, also we feel more comfortable with them. So these will help your students, and also I think these will be helpful also in your normal class activities and your normal class teaching. So as I said, we had to write our own script. what does this involve? It involves the fact that you have to be really good at knowing the language. If you wanna, you have to know what words to use in what kind of situations. So even if a simple situation, I have to know if I have to use, for example, this word or either this word, or I have to change maybe this word to, you really have to go deep into the meaning of what you are saying. And it helps the students, I think, to really get in touch with the language itself. And of course, all these points they kind of interact with each other. So students can effectively, well, they write, they're producing something, and they also get to know really good the language, okay, let's say, of that they're using. And then from the reader part, we go to the oral part. So the acting. So of course it helps your pronunciation. It helps your intonation. As I said before, I have to know every language has its own intonation. English has its own. Italian has its own. It's very melodic. People say that we sing. Or Latvian has its own. I can feel your intonation as you're speaking. And if I'm learning a language, I have to know all these particular aspects, of the language itself, as I said before. So acting out, it really helps also this aspect here. And overcoming fear, putting yourself in that situation. So from a personal experience, sometimes I'm not very sure about the language that I know. I'm not very good at French, for example. And if I speak with a French, native French speaker, I feel the fear, and I can, because I'm afraid to feel judged or to do something wrong, or so I prefer not to speak that much. So of course it's not going to help me with my development of that language. But still, if I use French into interactions here inside of with other students, or inside of these kind of activities, and put let's say the spontaneity of the speaking and the naturalness of the speaking while acting up, then I will fight this fear. I will find myself in a situation where I learn and I realize that I can do this. And if I'm acting out a scene, let's take the more tribal one, the banal one, a scene in a bar in a foreign language, and then I go traveling, or I find myself with those speakers, native speakers, and I'm in a bar, and it's kind of, people feel you've already lived that situation, right? So your mind already knows it. So it's gonna be very helpful in your real life. And another thing that I really like, so I really like when theater is very physical. I am currently working with contemporary and physical theater. And I love how we can communicate even without languages. I've had experiences, this is a very short anecdote. I was working with theater with some kids from Hungary, and they didn't speak any English, and it was a social project. We stayed there 3 weeks with those kids. So we couldn't really communicate, I didn't speak Hungarian, they didn't speak English, but still at the end of these 3 weeks, I saw those kids, even the most reckless ones, trust me, when we had to leave, they were crying. They were crying so much. Their tears, they were, and I was so moved from that. And I thought about it, and I was like, how were we able to give so much to these kids, even though we didn't really communicate with any word? It was because, as I said, communication is not only about word, it's your body. And linking body, of course we need languages, linking your body movements and your body expressions with the language and the words help us with memory, of course, because you put emotion in it, you put your body memory. Body has a better memory than words themselves, because if we do something like a choreography or just movement, we will remember that in a long time. Words, if we learn by memory, by heart, a poem or some, a script. I don't usually remember scripts, for example, but I remember things that I've done physically like years ago. So using our body helps us with our memory, and also to create a link to build a full expression. So, what time is it? Okay. What am I gonna do now? Are very small exercises. So as I said, maybe you already know them. As I said, the first one. So the type of exercises that you're gonna do with your student, they will of course change regarding to the level of your students and to the level of, like, if it's basic, if you want to teach basic Latvian, basic English, and so you will have to adapt that, of course. So the first exercise is called the ABC, and it's I love this exercise. It's very fun, and usually people use it for improvisation. So. To learn alphabet, that's the first thing you teach in class usually, right? I don't really, I have to admit, I don't really remember the English alphabet. I never learned that. But, so we're gonna do these exercises in English. So what this exercise involves? There are gonna be two people, and you will gonna have to act out a conversation, but following the alphabet. So the first letter of the first word that you're gonna say is gonna be A, you know this? It's gonna be A, and then the last one is gonna be B, and so on and so on. And this is, very hard, even though you know the alphabet, and it's very useful to learn the alphabet itself. And there is another to learn numbers. There is another exercise. We're not going to do that, but if maybe you want to use it. It's people are in a circle. Kids are in a circle, and they have to. It's called I don't remember. It's called the number games, and they have to say like the numbers in a row. Let's say like not in a row, but like I have to say 1, and another one have to say 2. But each time that two people say the number in the same time, then I'm going to start again. We use this kind of exercise in theater because, so you're going to repeat a lot that. So we do use this kind of exercise in theater because when you are on a stage, you need to be really aware with everything that is around you, because in theater you communicate not only, there's a lot of communications going on between in theater, like not only with the public, but also like with your fellow colleagues, actors, and with the space and with the objects. So as I'm moving, I have to concentrate on the public, and then I have to hear what the other actor is saying, and I have to know when I have to speak, and so on. So it is very good as to concentrate and to really be aware, to know, the other person. So, does anyone want to start?
Ability to swim is something which we can gain during our lifetime.
But you can think in another way about this.
Certainly.
Don't you stop thinking about swimming because you are tired and you want to swim?
Eating is a good thing as well.
Fantastic.
Are we?
Fantastic idea.
A, B, C,
F.
Finally, we have to ask someone to come and help us.
G.
Good. Great. Gregarious people, come and help.
Help us. Come and help.
I
Help. Yes. You can be the third person.
I don't want.
I want.
Join our team.
Me? Why?
Join. Yeah, me.
J.
A, J, I. K. J,
K.
K.
Jay.
Knowledge is everything.
Как делать?
Lucky.
L.
L.
Competition. Would you like to go?
Conversija, maybe. Conversija, maybe would be ready for it.
I'm just looking. L.
M.
M.
L. Oh,
M.
mine
Memory is very good.
So, like in the usual regulations, you had already lost, but you can go on.
Okay, nobody's helping.
No.
No one's coming to help us.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! People!
People or purple? Come. Q.
R. Q. Q.
Wow.
Quiet. Oh. Question.
In the audience.
Questions to follow?
R.
R.
R. R.
That's cheating.
Respect yourself.
Reading is a good thing as well.
S.
Especially. Then you can read in 3 languages.
Talking is a good thing as well. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Very good.
Of course, like you should give the other person.
Wonderful.
Yeah, V.
Very good.
Very good. Wonderful.
Yeah.
X.
Why?
X, Y,
Why?
Z.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yelling is a good thing as well.
E.
And
No, excellent.
X-ray.
Zebra is black and white as our learning and teaching process as well.
Okay, so we've discovered a lot of fields from sports, swimming, from food, so fish. What else? Animals. We've talked about a lot of lexical now here. So so you'd see it's very fun, and you should help the other person to keep on the conversations. So only exclamations are not valid, but it's very fun, and it really helps you to be very reactive in your speaking and alphabet learning. So does anyone else want to experience that? No? Okay. So yes, you are. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. So the next game is gonna be you're gonna be artists. you're gonna be sculptures. Sculptures? So we will have one person here, and so still a couple, and you will have to recreate an emotion with the body of the other person. So you're gonna, like, the other person is just Crete, you know. It's so you're gonna model him into anything, any let's see, body movement, or it's gotta be static actually, that you feel represents this kind of emotions. So still here, what you learn lexic, and you learn to link your, you know, that word to that kind of concept. You know, it's more than linking that to your body. It's like concept linking. So. So I see you wanna come.
Okay, will be the model.
Okay, you will be the model. So who wants to
Move me
move him?
to model.
It's really like what. It is way easier than
And the emotion?
the emotion. Either you decided or either we decided.
I gave it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the mannequin.
Yes. So you have like be really malleable, really free, and
Yeah,
so what do we want to represent here?
okay.
Cognition.
Pernicious, yeah, when the person is angry, yeah, so, or, I don't know.
Aggressive.
So aggressive, yeah.
Aggressive. It's more like aggressive.
More like, okay.
What is the
so
word?
Aggressive, aggressive.
I'm learning.
Oh, yeah.
They had a test before.
I'll give a certificate for
Can I move
advanced
him
level.
as I want, yeah, so.
Yeah, sure. On the floor. So on theater. No, but like so we're learning also theater here. On theater, you have different levels as you're working. You have different levels in theater. So you have, as you're acting out, you have upper level.
My gosh.
That's her presentation of being actor. So you're very scared of bears, I guess. So another couple. Come on. Yes, so it's not that difficult.
I will be a model, okay. I will be a model.
Give me easy
Nothing is easy today.
A level.
So you're gonna be the model?
Yeah.
Okay. And? Okay, cool. Something.
Independence. Independence.
Cool. So we're
Reliable.
Independent.
Dependable, reliable.
reliable.
It's even more difficult.
Why are you so?
So to be a good actor also, you don't have to be predictable. Okay?
Oh!
You're not a liar, Crete.
Yes.
Oh.
Exactly.
So can you describe us your
Do I need to
art?
describe it?
Yes.
Because word reliable means for me that you can trust someone. You add something and it's like a trust. Showing your hands and smile also shows positive meaning, the face expression, an open body and
All right, cool. how do you feel?
Stressed.
Stressed? I'm a student, I'm not a teacher. I am
Not
stressed.
because of you.
Okay, so for the next game, we're gonna work in pairs, and so you have to pair 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Wow.
When
English,
it's,
please.
when it's about counting, we always take our mother tongue.
Are you gonna join us?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And then one, but maybe we'll not even have the time to all of us do that. So in pairs, one person will have to tell a story. Okay, just don't worry.
Real?
No, whatever. No, it's whatever story you want.
What's going on
Not
today?
like even like I don't know, a happy child, running around, picking up flowers. It's cool. And the other person has to act it out. And
Who's gonna be with her?
and so you'll have to then see how the other person portrays your story. So what I ask you is not to be, as I said before, predictable. I mean, it's fun, yeah, and everything. But don't be predictable. Okay, one thing my director always say. So if you are predictable, you have to think of the public. Because, for example, let's say I'm acting pain. Okay, so people, if you think about pain, they'll be like, ah. But these, if you see it from outside, this seems like, oh, my stomach is kind of hurting, not that I am dying because of my, intimate angoisse and all these things. So, and also it's more, if you are not predictable, it's very fun. And because you work with your creativity, and actually it goes, like seriously speaking, it really goes into your depth. Because if I, for example, think of love, I've seen people, portray love as like this running person, like maybe this girl being so happy and running around. But for me, love can be even this gesture here, It's very simple, and the public, it's more surprise, let's say. So we are learning language, but we are also learning theater, and we are also learning to get to know, better our emotions and so on. So you can pair up, and you can move around. You can be here to work. You're not gonna have a lot of time. It's gonna be like really simple. And so one tells a story, and the other one then portrays it. Don't be mimes, So,
Don't be mimic?
no, be like
The speaker.
but meaning that. So this person is eating. You can do that, but don't be too much of that. Okay. Okay. You want some music to create the atmosphere? Yeah, okay. So we can do it like that. Either you could work before on that, like 5 minutes, so in couples, you tell the story and the other one thinks, or either you can do it right away here. Do you want to do right away? Do you want to do that?
Right away would be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then you can do it right away. Oh, sorry.
Боюсь, что она телефон делает.
Friday night.
Saturday morning.
Sunday morning.
Okay, good. So, what did we see?
Friday night.
Friday night, Saturday morning.
Saturday
Friday night and Saturday morning. Was it like that?
Magic mushrooms.
Uh-huh. So,
Picking
Picking up
mushrooms, some are
mushrooms.
edible, and then she tries.
how was she feeling?
Well,
Happy.
dead, finally, and dead, very much so.
Sorry?
Very much dead. At the end.
She was feeling dead, okay. Before that, she was very happy.
Yeah.
Why did you eat uncooked?
Because that was so nice.
They looked in a kiss.
Yeah. It looked so charming. I just wanted to try.
Impish.
Okay, so how did she portray your story? How did you feel? What have you done it in another way?
No, she was absolutely perfect.
So, what was your story?
As you already told, she was
Lonely girl.
She was walking along the forest, picking up berries and mushrooms, and just felt hungry and wanted to try some. And then you see what
Okay.
happened at the final.
That's a tragedy. That's a Greek
Yeah.
tragedy. Catharsis, all that thing. Good, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so who's the next one? Want some music?
No.
Okay. So, how was she? What did you?
Very attractive.
Yes.
Full of energy.
What emotions did we see in this act?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Yeah, as well.
And I saw fear. Did I? Okay. And so maybe I saw relievement. Is it like that? Okay. And how did you feel about doing that?
Oh, I'm enjoying.
So how did she portray your story?
Yeah, very good. Actually, we all know the story, so.
What is the story?
Red Riding.
So you are very much into picking things on.
And walking around.
Yes.
We want to be closer to nature.
Great, thank you very much. I gave you a hard time with my story. Thank you very much. So next couple. Yeah.
Music, all about the bass.
All about. Oh, cool. Okay. This one?
But don't show the picture.
I mean.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, Yeah, it's pretty clear. I ain't no size two, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to. Somebody got boom that all the boys shake, all the right junk in all the right places. I see them magazines working out all the shop. We know that shit ain't real. Come on, don't make it stop. If you got me with you, just raise them up. Every interview.
That's all. So what was that? What was that? Shopping. That's how we of course act as we're shopping. You're very happy with it. No, but that was good. Thank you. And so okay, she was. What were you doing? You were.
I buy you.
buying things, okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
And I'm making you talk because that's what you should do with your students. And so, what were you trying on? What did you try on?
Trousers.
Trousers? Only
Trousers,
trousers.
What?
Did you try on only trousers?
Yes, only.
Only trousers, okay. Good. And
It's not clear.
Stocking.
Stop.
Stocking.
You show it like stop.
No, yes, I'm mistaken.
Maybe.
Trousers, and then
Stockings onto your jeans.
yeah, I think.
And you had a nice bag, probably.
Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, I saw you stealing something. Maybe like you put something in your pocket, didn't you? No.
no.
That's reinterpretation. So how did you portray your story?
Excellent.
Excellent. Okay, you're very good, everyone. Thank you. So next one. No. So I have to save him because you all have a very practical situation. I gave him more conceptual situation. So this is, you're gonna see just what you feel. Kind of. You want some music?
I don't know. Because I don't know which kind of.
This, okay. Okay, so what did you see? How did you feel about doing that?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
No.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it transmits something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was trying to reach someone.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say maybe hello, goodbye? I don't know.
Yeah. What kind of relationship did he had with the other person?
We don't know yet.
He was against the flow.
Against the flow, yes. So, what was the story? The story is this song. This song speaks about La Foule. So it's about two lovers. They are in the middle of this crowd, and they get lost. Let's say in this crowd of people. So that was very good. Thank you. Okay, we're almost over. Next one.
Only people who are participating are allowed to get to the
I'm blackmailing started. Officially.
No, that was what I was told.
So how does it go?
No, I don't need to say. Who hasn't been there? I've seen two people who probably.
Nature? Like natural sounds? Yeah, like some. Oh, okay. Good? Yeah.
Eagle. Angry bird.
And God's way. That's all.
what it was about.
It was about the bird. A bird.
A bird.
With a broken.
Yes.
Yeah, she was flying, enjoying her life. And then started to rain, and at the same time the cat catched the bird and bited her.
Wing.
Yes.
Wing.
She was able to fly away.
Yeah, she was very brave, and she flew away and find a new life.
That's a good story. That's a really good story. Thank you very much. So the other ones. Do we have other ones? So if we don't have other ones, we're gonna go to the last because it's very late. So last one. Does someone speak French? If you read. Okay. So you don't. Nobody speaks French. Good. So I'm gonna. Let's say I have 4. So the exercise is gonna be still about the same thing. So, but here you have already given paragraph, let's say, and so you're gonna read it, you're gonna analyze it, you're gonna read this to everyone, and let's say we have 4 of them. Wait, 3. We can. Okay, so what we're gonna do is one person is gonna read this. Please put emotions. And other 2 people are gonna act this here as he's speaking. Okay. So what this piece that I'm gonna give you is an extract of Hamlet Machine. Is a postmodern performance, let's say, and this is the speech of Ophelia. So you're gonna read Ophelia, and the others are gonna act this out. I am Ophelia, the one the river didn't keep, the woman dangling from the rope. So if you have any new words, this is good. Like dangling, for example, it's kind of like maybe a rare word, not a rare word, but it's not a word you really use every day. From the rope. The woman with her hair cut open. The woman with the overdose. Snow on her lips. The woman with her head in a gas stove. Yesterday I stopped killing myself. I'm alone with my breast, my thighs, my womb. Still here we have words, like this is useful, for your students because you have these words like thighs and womb that still are words that you don't really use in, so you really have to understand, what you're reading, the text. I smashed the tools of my captivity, the chair, the table, the bed. I destroyed the battlefield that was my home. I fling open the doors so the wind gets in and the screams of the world. I smash the window. With my bleeding hands, I tear the photos of the men I loved and who tied me on the bed, on the table, on the chair, and on the ground. I set fire to my prison. I throw my clothes into the fire. And I wrenched the clock that was my heart out of my breast. I walk into the street, clothed in my blood. So this, if you do, I didn't put that much of emotions, but if you do put emotion in this, this is not an easy task, and this is it helps you also to really get into the text, into the meaning of the words, because sometimes words they are metaphors for something, So this is a real metaphorical. This is what I feel while reading this is about a woman who has been a victim, who was I have a lot of images, you know. I think about women violence if I read this. I think about like a lot of stuff, but I want to really leave you to your own interpretations. So okay, first group. You don't have to think about it, because we don't really have time.
I am Ophelia, the one the river didn't sleep, the woman dangling from the rope, the woman with her arteries cut open, the woman with the overdose, snow on her lips, the woman with her head in the gas stove. Yesterday I stopped killing myself. I'm alone with my breast, my size, my walls. I smash the tools of my captivity, the chair, the table, the bed. I destroy the battlefield that was my home. I fling open the door so the wind gets in and the scream of the world. I smash the window. With my bleeding hands, I tear the photos of the man I loved and who tied me on the bed, on the table, on the chair, on the ground. I set fire to my prison. I threw my clothes into the fire. I wrenched the clock that was my heart out of my breast. I walk into the street, clothed in my blood.
You helped me.
So we're not gonna use that anymore. So like we did that really fast. Usually
You had a
of
mail
course
failure.
usually you work on the text, you work on the pronunciation, you work on your tone, you work on your intonation, and yeah. So this is next one.
Figures showing male feelings. Figures showing male feelings.
I am Ophelia, the one the river didn't keep, the woman dangling from the rope, the woman with her arteries cut open, the woman with the overdose, snow on her lips, the woman with her head in the gas stove. Yesterday I stopped killing myself. I'm alone with my breasts, my tights, my wounds. I smashed the tools of my captivity, the chair, the table, the bed. I destroyed the battlefield that was my home. I fling open the doors so the wind gets in and the scream of the world. I smash the window. With my bleeding hands I tear the photos of the man I loved and who tied me on the bed, on the table, on the chair, on the ground. I set fire to my prison. I throw my clothes into the fire. I wrench the clock that was my heart out of my breast. I walk into the street, clothed with my blood.
Thank you. So I think this is very good exercise to really get in touch with your emotions, like, and how do you not be repetitive? How do you feel about these things? And yeah, so all the things that I said before to connect and all of that. This is the last one, really. Last effort.
man the river didn't keep, the woman dangling from the rope, the woman with her arteries cut open, the woman with overdose, snow on her lips, the woman with her head in the gas stove. Yesterday, I stopped killing myself. I'm alone with my breasts, my thighs, my womb. I smashed the tools of my captivity, the chair, the table, the bed. I destroyed the battlefield that was my home. I fling open the doors so the wind gets in, the scream of the world. Smash the window. With my bleeding hands I tear the photos of the men I loved and who tied me on the bed, on the table, on the chair, on the ground. I set fire to my prison. I throw my clothes into the fire. I wrenched the cloth that was my heart out of my breast. I walk into the street, clothed in my blood.
So that was a good reading. Yeah, really. And of course, you learn to be sure, confident about yourself while speaking in another language. So, last ones now, maybe? No?
I'm feeling the river didn't keep, the woman dangling from the rope, the woman with the arteries cut open, the woman with the overdose, snow on her lips, the woman with her head gas stove. Yesterday I stopped killing myself. I'm alone with my breast, my thighs, my bone. I smashed the tools of my activity, chair, the table, the bed. I destroyed the battlefield. That was my home. I climb open the doors so the wind gets into the screen of the wall. I smash the window. With my bleeding hands, I tear the photos of the men I loved. And who tied me on bed, on the table, on the chair, on the ground. I set fire to my prison. I throw my clothes into the fire. I wrenched the cloth. That was my heart out of my breast. I walk into the street, clothed in my blood.
Thank you very much. So, did I get the situation? It was when the teacher is dictating and you're...
She's right. She's right.
Oh, okay. I thought about what the teacher is dictating and you go so fast and you're like, I can have, okay. So, that was the last one. I'm sorry if it took so long and it's very late. And I thank you very much for your participation. I hope it was fun and I hope I told you something new. And I really wish you good luck with this theater experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.